I just graduated. So now what? Well, first, congratulations. Second, if you're unsure of what to do and how marketable you are, do not worry. Most programs do not prepare you to do the day-to-day work of PR. That's pretty common. Most programs rely on internships at agencies to teach you how to quote unquote do PR. But the agency may not give you any actual responsibility and maybe not much training because, well, there's client work to be done. So here's what I would do if I were in your shoes. And in fact, I was in your shoes at one point. I graduated from the #1 PR program in the country, and it was intense, and they pride themselves on graduates that are ready to hit the ground running. And I was, but I also didn't know very much about the day-to-day work of PR. So I had to work really hard. I created the blueprint, which is now the foundation of Good News. And then, I had to educate my team and my colleagues, and it was a lot. It was a very intense few years. But looking back, here are the 4 areas I would make sure that I understood, that you can understand thoroughly based on that experience. And the first of that is understand the disciplines of PR. And if you followed this series, then I mentioned these before, but there are community relations, government relations, crisis communications, reputation management, celebrity and influencer marketing, corporate social responsibility, groups and associations, activations, sometimes social media, also sometimes diversity and inclusions, and of course, media relations or publicity, which is probably the biggest one for most companies. And you don't have to be an expert on all of these things, but if you are positioned to ask the right questions about the job at hand and start to pocket skills along with highly transferable skills, you are way ahead of the competition. The next thing is, speaking of the last discipline I mentioned, publicity, understand all the aspects of generating publicity, specifically outreach. Understand who to reach out to and how to find them, what to pitch, and how to do this at scale. Most jobs are about doing outreach really, really well. And it's not about mass blasting a list and inundating blanket pitches to hundreds. So really unpack how to find the right people, what to pitch them based on research, know what your audience is sharing, what the audience is reading, viewing, commenting on. Then you can speak to the journalists, the editors, and producers as an expert and get really good results, which in turn makes you incredibly valuable in whatever role that you're playing. The next thing, also part of the aspects of publicity, is understand your metrics and your metric categories. So know your metric categories, including perception, which is share of voice and sentiment, media category, which is impressions, reach, and engagement, and then attribution, which is on-page traffic, conversions, and revenue. And then finally, learn how to prepare anyone, including yourself, to meet the media. And you will not have hours to prepare your VIPs, your executives for interviews, but you want to ensure that you capitalize on their time and then their time spent with the media, which means ensuring that questions are secured in advance, that key messages are dialed, and your VIPs know how to bridge from any question to any key message. And obviously, there's a lot more to learn on the ground or in the field of play, as I like to say, but having a high degree of emotional intelligence and an immense amount of curiosity will set you apart. So keep working, editing against your own workflows and clarifying so that you can align with the business strategy.